Neither there is a career in any of the government jobs, nor a respectable salary. So he's left with only to open an outlet with a kind of consultation and look for an attachment, and so is true with most of the specialists. Government view and what government does think about the hospital, especially in private sector. Yes, and especially in case of pandemics and natural disasters, they need hospitals. Wherever it is, whatever the facility is available, everything is welcome. Otherwise, there are loads of laws and compromises, compliances, compulsions. I shall talk about little detail about this government regulations a little later. Now, next question before me is, why do we need a private hospital setup? In last few years, we have realized, and especially in Bhopal in last 2 decades, this definite shift of a public or society towards private setup. And why? That is because of a very prompt services, easy access to specialists and super specialists, and the dependence, trust, and confidence. And that is the reason that everyone does look towards the private sector for every medical need. Then the question comes, where do we need a hospital to be? And this is what we have been struggling for years. Where should ideally be hospital situated? It's in a far more remote areas and a commercial areas where access of two-wheelers is difficult, or in residential areas where perhaps it's easier for any citizen to make an access and to avail the facilities. Time is precious for a sick patient, and everyone does know about the concept of golden hour. So the patients or sick patients, maternity patients, head injury patients, accident victims, everyone does need a quick and prompt medical services. And where could it be available? Only answer is private hospital in most of the, or in our mind setup. We don't look to the government. And what kind of an hospital do we need? Smaller hospitals, as I told you, my talk would perhaps be more towards a smaller hospital. They are needed in larger quantity because many people do prefer or do have a better understanding or better trust in the doctor they know for years. And smaller hospitals are the one which can be easily set up in a smaller areas and can provide cheaper and better services, obviously at the level of specialist. Although family physician concept has a foregone conclusion, there's no more, but smaller hospitals nowadays perhaps working at that level, that yes, if a patient approaches or reaches to a hospital, they do decide where could possibly he get the better services, if at all, if he does need a critical care or need a super specialized services. And then what's the government vision? Let us admit that government hospital has come up a long way in recent years. They are not only better equipped, better facilities, and many more specialized hands. And that the truth is that it can't do without private hospitals. almost 70 to 80% of the people do depend on the private healthcare services. And government very well does admit it. But unfortunately, there is no concrete plan from the government to facilitate the setup of smaller hospitals. So what is lies for the hospital if you wish to set up in a hospital? What is the current situation? And current situation does, as per the master plan 2005, hospital, clinical establishments, and health-related services are kept under public and semi-public services. Hospitals up to 200 beds and other medical services are permitted activity in residential areas. But condition is, another thing I may add, that one hospital is needed for every 45,000 to 50,000 people, and it should be within 1 kilometer reach for a patient. But the condition is, the land required for a hospital has to be minimum 20,000 square feet to 50,000 square feet. And you can open up to 200 bedded hospital. Now, ground reality is, do we have any such area in any of the residential colony, whether developed or developing in our city? So this is what a paradox with the government. After 2018, a lot of our struggle at the nursing home level, we tried and hard could convince Chief Minister, and with his vision, a gazette notification in 2018 was published with certain conditions. Hospitals can be allowed to run in residential areas. And those conditions, sadly, could result into maximum 20-25 hospitals to be regularized out of 300 odd plus nursing homes in Bhopal. And those conditions, broadly, you have to have a minimum 4,000 square feet plot on a 12 meter wide road. Other than this, there are many more conditions, like you need to pay premium parking fee, you need to pay conversion fee to the Nagar Nigam, and I may say that few people have got their hospital converted and got their things regularized, but fee is almost 50 lakhs to 1 CR for a hospital which is 4,000 square feet and above. So is it really financially feasible for all hospitals? Because all hospitals do not have a multi-faculty services or a good turnover. That is one aspect. Sadly, in this gazette notification, even for a clinic or single specialty hospital, you can use only ground floor, and that to 25% of ground coverage or 50 square meter, whichever is less. Can you imagine a clinic in 500 square feet with a consulting room and a reception and a little reasonable waiting hall? So this is what is our government's vision as on day. Lastly, very noticeable that no new hospital setup would be permissible to operate after the date of publication of this gazette notification. Means the hospital setup after October 2018, they are not exempted under these conditions even if they fulfill it. So you cannot open a new hospital with the present master plan. Right. What is the new master plan? We cannot say, but whatever, I have gone through the draft of the new master plan. Yes, the little brighter side of this master plan is that not only for the doctors, for everyone, the 18 meters wide road, you can go for any clinical activity, whether it's clinical laboratories, whether it's clinic, whether it's hospital, or whether it's nursing home. This is as on day. We do not know what actually lies after the publication. But as on day, it was initially 12 meters, which increased into the newer revised draft, 18 meters. And there is again a conversion fee one has to pay if they want to run a business or a commercial activity, especially for us, even clinic or clinical services to the government. In this draft, there are a few areas where you cannot do even these services, whether the road is 18 meters or broader. And those areas are, one is Arera Colony, E1 to E5, there is no mixed land use is permitted. Other area is Chunabhatti, which is from Link Road 3 cross section to the Kalyasod River, no commercial activity. Vijaynagar near Lal Ghati, no commercial activity. Gandhinagar, no commercial activity. So these areas are being spared or exempted. So God knows what would happen, what the commercial activity running in these areas as on day. Least talk about the hospitals or nursing homes. So there is no rescue for currently running smaller hospitals, that is roughly 300 odd hospitals. There is no rescue for them because there is no relief in 2018 notification, neither in new master plan, unless they happen to be on 18 meters wide road. So this is the current situation. I don't know, this should be a future vision as well. So thank you very much for the patience here.
Thank you, Dr. Vinod Jain, for a wonderful insight on how to build, plan the infrastructure of the hospitals in the old scenario and the new scenario. So, Dr. Ajay Goenka, seeing the exploding population and urbanization of the periphery of Bhopal, what would you suggest to add on to Sir's insight for planning and according to the new government regulations and gazettes? Where should a new doctor plan his hospital? How much money he should borrow from a bank or auction himself off for it?
I like to talk little bigger than Bhopal, little bigger than a state. What is actually happening in this country? I like to brief in 5 minutes. First of all, health initially was the subject of society. But let me tell you now, health is a political subject today. Health has been totally grabbed by politicians all over the country. So let us start with how this has happened. And this has happened, let me tell you the truth, what has happened. There were limited number of seats and limited number of medical colleges in the country, whether government or private. It took a large amount of money to spend to make a medical college. It took a large number of patients to make a medical college. In last few years, the scenario has changed. The existing medical colleges has been made double. The newer medical college at the level of district has been started at all over India. So the number of medical undergraduate seats have increased tremendously. The postgraduate seats are now matching with the undergraduate seats. Okay? The super specialization is as it is above the age of 28, the seats have increased, but there are hardly people who want to join for the super specialization now. Next step. There are different schemes running into this country. CGHS is one scheme which is running free of cost, payable at a very minimal rate. ECHS is running at a very minimal payable rate. RBSK is running in different names in all the portions of the states in different name. In different parties have started their different schemes for the treatment of patients at a very minimal rate. They say that it is meant only for the BPL numbers. A very good saying that it is meant only for BPL numbers. But each and every district has more than 60% population of BPL. So these schemes are covering more than 60% original BPL, and few more persons adding on to this. It makes an average of 70 to 72% of the patients having these larger schemes as Ayushman, known as India. Delhi mein there is different scheme, Rajasthan mein there is different scheme, Haryana mein there is, Madras mein there is different schemes. So at one side there is CGHS, ECHS, there is RBSK, there is this Ayushman Yojana and multiple schemes. On the top of it, in Madhya Pradesh, we have Bal Hirday Yojana, we have Bal Shravan Yojana. On the contrary, we have tuberculosis eradication program of the country where anti-tubercular drugs are given free. We have HIV ART clinic where all HIV patients from detection, diagnosis, treatment and ultimate complication, it is given free of charge. Cataract surgery with blindness control program, the major work of ophthalmologists ends up. Washiorkor, marasmus and protein allergy malnutrition patients whom you all used to treat, hardly you can now find with the protein supplementation and hardly a child getting a protein allergy malnutrition patient with institutional deliveries. That the delivery cannot happen at a village. With institutional deliveries, they have been transported to smaller section of hospitals. From that smaller section of hospital, the ambulance is must to carry to district hospital, nowhere in the private hospital. So the lady population, the delivering population, 30% has already been shifted into the government. Where there is a commission to Anganwadi, where there is a commission to Asha worker, where there is a commission to this.
And also to the account of the patient.
Now we come, what is left with the private practitioners? What is left? Smile clinic takes away all your kata-phata hot. Polio clinic takes away all your bony injuries. Trauma program is happening where ambulances are fixed. They have to 100% reach to the government hospitals. They cannot be transported to private hospitals by any means unless you pay heavy commissions and heavy, things or adultering the scheme. On the top of it, there are rich people who do not want to have treatment in India. There are again a middle class and the rich people working for different companies having that insurance card with them. Increasing number of doctor population, increasing number of postgraduate doctors with minimal quality. With minimal quality, because hardly these medical colleges have got teachers. The teachers are getting transported. जैसे private medical college में हम चिंदी चोरी करते थे कि तेरा डॉक्टर दे दे भाई, हम दिखा देते तेरे को वापस दे देंगे. सरकारी अस्पताल में the Jabalpur people should transported to this, फलाना this, and with a minimal quality. The quality is deteriorating. On the contrary, जो हमारे powerful doctors हैं, intellectual doctors हैं, जो वो सब हम एक मशीन बन गए हैं फॉरेन में सप्लाई के लिए. हमारा कोई भी इंटेलेक्चुअल डॉक्टर जो अपकमिंग डॉक्टर है, आप रोज उनके फॉर्म साइन करते हो कि वो कहीं स्पॉन्सरशिप ले रहा है, कहीं कुछ ले रहा है. Similar thing has happened, let me tell you, in dentistry. Number of dental colleges open, it turned out to be this. Today, dental doctors are not getting neither a space for private practice, neither a space for them into government sector. They are on roads. After 5 years, ill-skilled or minimally skilled postgraduate doctors will be flooded because in government or private setup, the clinical material is a larger number. Like in one college, there is 35 anesthesia seats. How actually you can justify these 35 seats? So this is overall. So what should be the aim where I want to focus is, if we all doctors who are senior, who have got good practices, who have got good money, should try to focus onto the quality education and quality treatment, not talking about volumes, but let us talk of how can we reach to quality education where people can really stand on their own later to struggle this. Overall, my message is that we are leading towards England. It is the nationalization of health. It is probably the nationalization of health, not saying the word nationalization, but indirectly with cashless treatment with minimal money. Cashless treatment, 60% of the population cashless with minimal money. And later 10% with CGHS, ECHS with minimal money. Again with the minimal money. So what I mean to say, it's a very, very big compromise going on into these health sectors. And let me tell you, these electoral fights for giving free treatment to our poor people will not end in this country, because it's a gross benefit to the poor society. It is an ultimate change into their lives. It is an ultimate change. मतलब वो गरीब आदमी जो चिराई मेडिकल कॉलेज के ग्रेनाइट पे कभी खड़े होने की तो सोचो, उस गली से निकलता था तो उस तरफ देखता नहीं था। वो आज आराम से लिपस्टिक लगा के घुसता है या घुसती है, आराम से अपना कार्ड दिखाती है, अपना हक बताती है कि मेरा 5 लाख रुपए का ट्रीटमेंट का कार्ड है मेरे पास, और वो पूरा ट्रीटमेंट लेके जाती है। So this right has been given to the poor people, where they are benefited to an extreme amount. Because this is a private forum where we are talking of finances, we are talking of money, we are talking of all this. My interest was to explore and to tell you what is happening in this country. I have nothing to say with any of the government to do about it. I have nothing to say anything against any scheme. Let me tell you quickly. What is the fact today? How do doctors fight with this struggle? At the same time, we have got 10% increasing population. That is the only good sign. 142 crore today we have, 156 crore is the next year. And let me tell you, 175 crores in next 3.5 years with the increasing population. So, I don't know where the fight will be with the increasing population. The doctors will get a job and will have their important bread and butters, or there will be again a fight of, like dentistry, to have a position, to have seat, to have a private practice, or to find out their own space for their bread and butter. I am not an economist onto this. I cannot speak onto this. I have opened the common treatment points. There are senior persons to talk about who will understand it better than me. I have just opened and topic. As far as Bhopal is concerned, we are rich. We are rich with government hospital beds. We are much richer. 1,200 to 1,500 beds we have. We have got 1,400 Hamidi Hospital beds. We have got 200 beds at Kamla Nehru, 200 beds at JP Hospital. We have got 300 beds at Gasraj, 300 beds at BMHRC. We have got 50 to 100 beds at Beraga, and we have got many more clinics along with a BHL, a corporate hospital, 300 beds. So the government hospital beds are much more than any private sector beds. So the truth is this in this Bhopal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful insight, very honest, very fearless, Dr. Ajay. Dr. Pankaj, I want to ask you is NABH accreditation necessary for private and government hospitals? And do we all really comply with the infrastructure, staffs, and audit as according to NABH?
NABH is a good thing. It is basically process. You tend to change your system, and you are safe with the system. Uh, Whether it is necessary, it is a very difficult question. If you are not following system, then it is necessary. And if you are following a system, then it is not necessary. Basically, we try to do shortcuts in everywhere. So in
Because
NABH,
according to the norms, we need staff extra. We
yeah,
need to pay
staff
them.
and
We have a lot of paperwork,
paperwork, yes, yes. That's
and we
what I'm
need to
saying.
keep our money for the fees.
Yes.
है ना? So what would you say? Would you advise that there should be NABH accreditation for all government units, small hospitals, medium and large?
As far as private hospital is concerned, if person is doing NABH accreditation, it is good for him. Because basically, if you have something illegal thing is coming up, then you are safe because your paperwork is complete. Uh, Government hospital should also go for NABH, where system is not set like this, like a NABH processing is not fully. In those conditions, I think government should also go for NABH accreditation.
Right. Thank you. Sudhir sir, I would like to ask you two questions. One is, what about the parking facilities in the new planning and implementation according to the new gazette?
Well, the new gazette I'm not too sure about in Bhopal. I would excuse from commenting on the gazette as such, but definitely parking definitely remains a challenge which hospitals seldom plan. So that's something which
Do you
we-
employ GPs or family doctors, family medicine physicians, general
yes,
medicine?
we do. We do. We
Do
do.
your services extend to neuro rehabilitation, geriatrics, or hospices?
We have started geriatrics. The neuro rehab will be something which we are looking at very seriously.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. And do you extend your services only to the hospital infrastructure, or you extend it by ambulances or camps to the periphery?
We are conducting camps, there's no doubt. Throughout Madhya Pradesh, we are conducting camps. Our
Okay.
ambulance is also available for people to utilize for not only coming to our hospital, but also can be used if somebody wants to go to some other hospital too.
Okay. So a government hospital or a private hospital or a private public partnership hospital helps? Dr. Goenka? Would you like to be involved in a public-private enterprise or only be a private medical college and hospital?
No. देखिए, opening a health facility by public hospital, by public private hospital, by simple private hospital is a big challenge.
Okay.
Is a big challenge. It is not a small challenge. You are talking of people who have been old, 30 years old, who have set up their own setups and doing well. You talk of a new person who is coming into the market. It's a struggle. And it will be a further struggle 3, 4, 5 years later. It will not be an easy job. And with quality, you have to. The population left is 20%. Amongst that, you have to give a quality treatment and put yourself on the top of it. Then only people. Abhi the OPDs are left by the government setup. That OPDs are charged by the people. So consultation is coming to the people. But let me tell you truthfully, once the consultation, OPD consultation is taken to the schemes, where you will be getting 100 rupees on consultation, maybe 200 rupees on consultation if they are fixed. Where do doctors sit? It's I'm not making afraid anybody, but I am at the same time want that it's a fight. It is not that open a game जो 25 साल पहले था कि अस्पताल खोला भर गया चलने लगा कुछ क्वालिटी हुई कुछ क्वालिटी नहीं हुई आज पेशेंट भी होशियार है सिस्टम भी होशियार है सरकारें भी होशियार है NABH है आपके पास में एप्लीकेशन के लिए NABL है उधर लैब्स में एग्रीकेशन के लिए मॉलिकुलर लैब्स में आज के रोज ICMR एफिलिएशन है आपका RT-PCR में एफिलिएशन है ट्यूबरकुलोसिस के अंदर BSL लैब्स हैं BSL2 लैब्स हैं. There is a lot of fight today. You cannot tell simply that कुछ भी चल रहा है. मतलब medical, the things are growing. And it is, the pace is also maintained by the government. It is not only that the private sector is making a pace. District hospitals, where every district hospital has a CT scan which is free of charge for people. Every district hospital has a complete pathology lab which is free of charge for all the patients for investigation. So it's a tough struggle. It is not that easy कि किसी ने कहा कि मैं जमीन खोल दूंगा private अस्पताल खोल
Dr.
दूंगा.
Narendra,
Not
would you
that
like to
easy.
give some
It is a tough battle. It is a mildly tough battle. Right? This is what my impression is, but the house is open. Somebody can give
Dr.
their own.
Narendra, would you like to give a preview or some input from the IMA principal?
Actually, I am from IMA, and IMA works for the doctors, not for the hospital. So, thereby they work for the society. मेरा मानना ये है कि डॉक्टर्स जो है वो दे आर अंडरपेड, सर्विंग डॉक्टर्स.
Sir, say it loudly so that we'll all carry over the
Doctors are
message.
underpaid. At MBBS, they are getting 50,000 a month, which is much less as compared to their जो इनने मेहनत की है, जितनी तपस्या की है, जितना पैसा लगाया उसके मुकाबले बहुत कम है. ये सब बढ़ना चाहिए, तभी अच्छे डॉक्टर आगे आएंगे. और मैं इसके अलावा नहीं जा रहा कुछ कहना.
ठीक है सर. Randeep, seeing all the discussion that has been done, I think your talk should be very, very short. Let us have some inputs from you.
Years what has been done. So next slide, please. I'll go very top healthcare technology trends. What is there? When I opened 20 years back, IVF was a new to Bhopal. All the patients used to go to Delhi, Bombay for IVF. When I started IVF, I stopped the roads. So what today we are lacking in Bhopal is, for example, we don't have, I think the first renal transplant was done by Goenka sir. Then the liver transplant has come now. Still what we are lacking is, we don't have cardiac transplant, we don't have lung transplant. If you know the COVID, for lung transplant, our RKJ, we lost him. So there are many things, but I'll give you the short. Please, next slide. The first is artificial intelligence. I was Copenhagen last week. The whole 4 days, I was proud with the blessing of my teachers that out of 5 papers, myself and Monica had 2 papers in there, and my topic was how to cut down the infertility cost. More drugs now, the multinational drugs, which we used to have 1.5 to 2 lakhs per cycle, it has reduced to 50,000 to 1 lakh because of Indian products, and Indian products are as equal as the foreign multinational. So AI was that, with the help of AI, we are advancing in technology, improving. Next slide, please. Next. The promise of artificial intelligence is that the medicine to provide composite panoramic view of individual medical data to improve decision making, to avoid errors and misdiagnosis. Next, please. Intelligent data and predictive analysis. Robots, robotic surgery. They are very important now. Every field, whether it is ortho, neuro, and all, the robotic surgery plays a lot. And I think robotic surgery is a need of future of the Bhopal. Dr. Subodh Vaishnav sir, going out, the owners can plan for that. Next. Then mental health. Now at the mental health, according to WHO, the mental health issues are increased up to 13%, and after COVID, every 1 member of the 5, because COVID has made the mental, indirectly or directly, we have lost our many people. So next slide, please. Next. Remote patient monitoring and virtual care. Internet of Things, IoT. Especially during the COVID, it has made a major part and is still developing. Like Dr. Goenka sir was talking with a person, a senior doctor in USA. So that is the part of the internet and all. Next. Digital therapeutics, because digital therapeutics mental above example of remote care and serial-based bedside monitoring. Next. Wearables in the healthcare. Wearables of the wearable technology is a group of electronic devices that can be worn as an accessory implanted in the user's body.
So biopatches can give a better insight. Next. Organ care technology and piping. That means still that organ transplant. And I think Dr. Rakesh Bhargava is there. He is running a very good organ donation plant. So I think Bhopal has come because 4-5 साल पहले what is the green zone, how the organ transplants from here to airport, everybody. So that is also neat. It's not like only that Bangalore or that Bhopal has come indoors. So next. Cancer immunotherapy. Dr. Ajay Goenka sir knows better than now immuno-oncology, which is a type of cancer treatment, has also advanced and can now prolong a patient's life considerably. Immunotherapy is based on the idea that the cancer can be treated genetically modified by the patient's cells. Immunotherapy does not cause the collateral damage to the healthy cells of chemotherapy does. It uses the body's own immune system. Next. Augmented and virtual reality in the healthcare. The development of augmented reality is mainly reliant to artificial intelligence. Doctor using AR glasses can overlay the CT scan and 3D. Next. Sustainability and decarbonization. Now the ecosystem. All over the industry are that now if you take EC and all, I think after a few days, now it is, if the height is more than 45 meters, you have to take the EC, but the government can now thinking of that. They have the residential, so next future planning, that will be the ecosystem. I think that is in short. Thank you.
Dr. Sumit, seeing all the topics that have been covered, I would like to ask you is that how can we focus on the health system in Ayush and the allied services with cardiac? Let us give you only cardiac. And healthcare as an industry, we employ people, so we are an industry. We give service, we are an industry. So shouldn't we ask the government to give us subsidies?
Yeah, ma'am. So thank you. First of all, so all the seniors are here. So I'm very small for saying all these big words. But I think so when I speak about the healthcare and coming about the different policies, I personally believe that the health should be given for all. What I personally believe is health is for all. So definitely that is being taken care of by the government, the policies and what everyone is saying. But definitely we should be requiring a checks on all these things, which I personally feel is a very important thing. Like in Ayushman schemes and every schemes, what we are seeing is there are the things which we can see the things they are not properly guided, or I can say the schemes are worse. There are some patients those who are getting a proper treatment because it's because of the facilities what government has given up. So, but definitely when we are doing things for these patients, when we are also doing things for these patients, we are ready to do this. But then we also want government to help us in all these things. When we are doing a patient of this, when we are doing a procedure for these patients, then obviously definitely government should also give some subsidies to, like if we are using an implant. So that implant should be obviously then it should become at a cheaper cost. When we are giving a treatment at a lower cost, then we also expect government to give us something in return for that. So if we are using, obviously if a person is paying, or if I can say like paying those things, definitely I won't expect that thing that if I can give a better thing to anyone, and that I should be provided if he is affordable and all those things. But if he is not affordable and if we are giving him this thing, so health is for all. He should also get a good treatment. So when we are moving one step forward by giving the treatment, giving the emergency treatments, so we also want government to give us in return that some subsidies or some health policies in these policies, that they should give some part of subsidies in these treatment protocols. Thank you.
Thank you. I thank all the panelists for participating, and any mistakes in our program, please forgive us. Now I invite Dr. Subodh Vashne to conduct the second panel. In meanwhile, if our senior teachers are here, would you all like to give some input on this panel discussions?
Actually, I agree with Dr. Goenka. He is correct. The basic thing is the education, which we are not providing to the students. They are not coming in the time. One has to look after, the college administration has to look after, that they should provide the quality material to the students so that they should attend. Because when we are not giving the good teaching, so good classes, then they will not be interested. So first thing is the education to the students so that they can be a good doctors, successful doctors, skilled doctors, and then we can have the further programs. So education is a must thing.
I also want to comment on few issues which were raised in this panel discussion. You all know that I was part of the NEET committee of MCI when we made all the rules, and with this next exam, which is coming in, whatever we recommended, 95% of it would be implemented. Still 5% is remaining. We even recommended that you should only give grace marks for the reservations. For all the categories, you only give certain grace marks. You can give 10 grace marks to SC/ST, you can give 5 marks to Northeast, you can give 5 marks to the service doctors, so that there is no seat reservation. They will have to at least qualify to that level with a grace mark. It cannot be seat reservation. So that's the only thing which is remaining, and that will probably come when government is going to take some decision on reservations. Second, what Ajay was saying, where we are heading, dental college. Actually, before dental college, same thing happened to engineering colleges, that they propped up in every nook and corner. There were so many engineers that all the salesmen were actually engineers. What happens is we don't, what I feel, whenever the policy is made, in the policies, mainly they are bureaucrats, and the professionals which they take, they are from mainly from the government, the bodies like All India Institute or PGI. So they have no experience of public health things. Give you a very simple example. In England, in 1970s, there were mainly all the population was drained towards London. All the good medical colleges or hospitals were only in London. But slowly, every university hospital opened up in every I think area of England, and then this drainage is stopped. And then what they did, English people, they merged 2 medical colleges into one, because they knew that their numbers are going to go up tremendously. They don't need so many numbers. And we don't have such system here, because we don't make policies like this. Now, what MP government has just started, the rotation into district hospitals. This is what we recommended in that when you do MBBS final exam, that exam should be centralized by the MCI. So that becomes the exit exam, that becomes your NEET PG exam. On basis of that, only you will be given admission. Now, every student would know that I am getting a PG or not. So if they are getting a PG, you send them during the internship for 6 months into village. They will be more than happy. Why? They don't have to study for NEET exam, which they keep doing during the internship. अगर आप दूसरा देखें कि उनको 6 महीने सीखें, नेक्स्ट 2 का एग्जाम दें और गांव भेज दीजिए, तो आपके गांव के डॉक्टर्स की प्रॉब्लम अपने आप सॉल्व हो जाएगी. दूसरा, जब ये लोग पीजी करते हैं, इंडिया इज द ओनली कंट्री इन द वर्ल्ड जहां पे आप एक ही कॉलेज से पीजी करते हो. अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड यू रोटेट इनटू डिफरेंट हॉस्पिटल्स. उससे आपको दूसरे डॉक्टर्स, दूसरे टीचर्स, दूसरी एक्सपोजर्स मिलते हैं. यहाँ पे आपको तो जो टीचर मिल गया, बस आप उतना ही सीख सकते हो. तो रोटेशन मस्ट है. तो इसीलिए अभी एमपी गवर्नमेंट ने शुरू किया. दिस वाज डिस्कस्ड विद देम एंड दे हैव इंप्लीमेंटेड इट, दैट ड्यूरिंग द पीजी of 3 years they will rotate PG student at least 3 months into district hospital. तो district hospital में भी आपके डॉक्टर्स की कमी पूरी होगी. नाउ जब उसने 9 महीने यहाँ बिता दिए हैं, तो आप उसका बॉन्ड हटा दीजिए. ये जो बॉन्ड है 1 साल का, दिस इज एक्चुअली एंटी नेशनल एक्टिविटी. मैं इसको क्यों एंटी नेशनल कहता हूँ कि 100 लोगों का अगर हमारा क्लास होता है, तो उसमें से जो 30-40 लोग होते हैं, वो तो इतने इंटेलिजेंट होते हैं कि वो लोग आधे तो विदेश चले जाएंगे, या बाकी के जो है बड़ी बड़ी डीएम एमसीएच करेंगे. तो आप उनका 1 साल बर्बाद कर रहे हो. उन लोगों का कौन सा आईएएस 1 साल के लिए पोस्टिंग लेके आता है गांव में, आईएएस के, यूपीएससी के एग्जाम के उसके लिए? ये बिल्कुल गलत चीजें हैं. नाउ बट गवर्नमेंट हैज स्टार्टेड अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस व्हेन वी हैव डन लॉट ऑफ पेपर वर्क, एंड स्लोली ये बॉन्ड खत्म होना चाहिए. आपने एमडीएमएस करने के पहले ही उनको यूज कर लिया 9 महीने गांव में, तो आपकी वो प्रॉब्लम भी सॉल्व हो गई. अब अपन नंबर्स की बात पे आते हैं. एक क्या होता है, मेडिकल कॉलेज के 2 सेपरेट पार्ट्स हैं. एक पार्ट है कॉलेज, एक पार्ट है हॉस्पिटल. हॉस्पिटल चाहिए पब्लिक को, कॉलेज चाहिए आपको डॉक्टर बनाने को. अगर ये जो एक मतलब डिसीजन जब करते हैं लोग कि हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल को मेडिकल कॉलेज बना दो, तो कहने को आसान है, लेकिन इन्होंने क्या डिफरेंशिएट नहीं किया कि हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल को मेडिकल कॉलेज हॉस्पिटल बना दो. बस इतना करना था. उनको मेडिकल कॉलेज नहीं बनाना था। मेडिकल कॉलेज का जो पार्ट है दैट इज यूजलेस फॉर द पब्लिक। वो जो आप ऑडिटोरियम बनाते हो, जो आप ग्राउंड्स बनाते हो, जो आप लेक्चर थिएटर्स बनाते हो, जो फार्मेकोलॉजी की लैब है, उससे पब्लिक को क्या फायदा है? उसको तो डॉक्टर बनाने के लिए चाहिए, वो तो आपके पास गांधी मेडिकल कॉलेज में है। जो हमारा बचपन का, जिसपे पूरा बचपन भी था, वो चीजें हम कॉलेज में भूल जाते हैं। आप जब स्कूल में थे तो आपके क्या होते थे? सेक्शंस, KG1 के सेक्शन, फर्स्ट के सेक्शन। हमारे मेडिकल कॉलेज में सेक्शंस क्यों नहीं होते? फर्स्ट ईयर क्या ABC, फर्स्ट ईयर ABC क्यों नहीं हो सकता? जब डॉक्टर सरीन वो थे चेयरमैन गवर्नर, तो मैंने उनसे ये पूछा था, साहब आप तो मुझको ये बता दो कि ये जो कॉन्सेप्ट है कि नंबर ऑफ सीट्स आप इतनी देते हो, इसका साइंटिफिक बेसिस क्या है? वो और देवी 50% सीट डबल हुई थी रातों रात, वो सिर्फ इसीलिए हुई थी। जब आप एक लेक्चर देने जाते हो आज अब्रॉड, वहां पे 5000 लोग आपको सुनते हैं, तो एक टीचर 150 लोगों के बियॉन्ड क्या आवाज नहीं जाएगी उसकी? ठीक है, लेक्चर हॉल की अगर